Hello, everyone, and thank you for being there. My name is Magali Mbono Samba. I'm the chair of the Online Safety SIG of the Internet Society Foundation. So today we will talk about an object which is already part of our daily life. It is small. It fits in one hand. It doesn't even weigh 1 kilogram, but it is a powerful computer. Yes, we will talk about smartphones. They may not look like it, but our smartphones are powerful computers, and therefore it is not a surprise that they are very often targeted by criminals. For example, in 2018, 27% of business were done through phone, and most importantly, mobile banking fraud has increased by 50%. At this age, in 2023, dogs aren't the human-based friend. They are being replaced by smartphones because we go with our smartphone everywhere. We go with our smartphone at work, in the market, in the street, when we wander in the street, when we do our show, when we are even in the bed, we have our smartphone. Based on a study, 46% of people spend between 5 and 6 hours per day on their phone. And among them, 11% confess to using more than 7 hours. And again, it's really not a surprise because our smartphones are more or less linked to our whole life. They have our bank account, they have our contact, they have our email. Really, at this age, you cannot live without a smartphone. But the most surprising thing is that only one smartphone out of two is protected by an antivirus. And not everyone will use a VPN to connect to a public Wi-Fi through a smartphone. In this webinar, the Online Safety SIG will review the three which are floating about smartphone users. And in order to do that, we have two speakers. The first one is Vianney Forewah. We will talk about, we will give her 10 tips in order to protect our smartphone from hackers. And the second will be Samba, which we talk about the dark side of social media. Every time the speaker will present the hit 15 minutes, then we have a quick Q&A in order to shine light on the darkest place or to answer some questions. And without wasting any more time, I will give the floor to Sir Vianney for one. Please, Sir Vianney, it's your turn.
Production we are handling today, and it's something that touches everybody because I believe everyone here has a smartphone, and we do a lot on our smartphone these days. The internet has transformed the world we live in, and there are the possibilities of what we can do with smartphones.
Recording in progress.
And however, it has also exposed us to various cybersecurity threats, which we'll be getting some today. For those who high-end users or companies, it's a concern for everyone because it starts with the data sets. And in my presentation today, I'll be giving some tips on how to safeguard your device and your personal data. The first point I'll be talking on today is on installing an antivirus program. As we all know, when we talk about antivirus, it's something to counter a virus. It means there are thousands of viruses out there that people with evil intention or malintention, they create this virus, giving it specific instructions. The virus differ in nature and in how they are being executed on our devices. And some of these viruses are targeting very specific information. And this can be sensitive information as bank details and even location details that really point out to a particular individual. So there is that need for us to have an antivirus that can counteract the action of some of these viruses and make sure that our phones are really protected. Now, it does not just end with our smartphones, it also goes on laptops or computers. We have to install antivirus programs and make sure that we keep them up to date. A lot of people rely on the free antivirus, which provides very minimum protection. I believe that if we can get an antivirus as little as the minimum package for a particular device, we can be able to protect our device for the whole year, which is very important. And this antivirus, you can run regular scans to make sure that our device are void of any virus. The next point we'll be talking about is on how to enable passwords. We know a lot of our devices have passwords. Our platforms that we engage in, they have passwords, but we still see that even the nature of the passwords that we use are easily predictable, which is really not a good thing when it comes to cybersecurity, because a password that is easily predictable would easily be hacked into, would easily be uncovered. So there is that need for us to understand that passwords are crucial in protecting our devices. And you need to use a combination of numbers, symbols, and letters to constitute your password. Specifically for mobile devices, enable password protection on your device. Make sure that for anybody to access your device, the person needs to input a password. And so with that in place, you know that only you can have access to these platforms or to your particular device. Next, we'll be talking about how to utilize two-factor authentication. The two-factor authentication adds an extra level of security to your accounts. This means that it does not just end with password. It also adds another level of security to make sure that even if somebody succeeds to get your password, the person still needs the second level of authentication to be able to get into your account. Okay. So you need to turn this on your devices or the apps or the platforms that you use, and that the platforms that support this two-factor authentication. And it can go even on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on Telegram. Most of these platforms, they have this two-factor authentication. And even on our mobile phones, there is the second level of security that is included in most phones, that once you use one, it requires you to enter the second one before you have access. And it's very important that we take this into consideration. Next, we'll be talking about how to keep the operating system and your apps on your phone updated. This is very important because keeping your operating system and apps updated makes the phone or makes your device really protected. Now, most of the updates that come with some of these apps are patches or vulnerabilities that have been discovered, and patches have been done to it. So if you don't update, it means you're still using the existing version, which still has that vulnerability. So there is that need for you to always update. So once you update, you are using the latest version that is most protected. So always update your apps and update your operating system of your phone. Next, we'll be talking about how to use browser extensions. Now, once you install a browser or you're using a browser on your mobile phone, you discover that the browser comes with inbuilt protection systems. Now, adding extensions or browser extensions enable you to have an added layer of protection. And this can be in the form of ad blockers that blocks ad pop-ups on your browsing screen, or it can also be HTTPS checkers, or to check the security of a website before you log in. And this is very important because sometimes we browse into websites that have malwares. And once we enter into some of these websites, these malwares, they download into our device and infect files on the device. So it's important to use browser extensions that can add that layer of protection to the browser and to our browsing activities. Furthermore, we'll look at how users should be aware of their privacy settings. Now, most of our devices under setting have security settings, and it differs from one mobile device to another. Now, the thing is, most of these security settings are designed to give us protection or to enable us to use the inbuilt protection to protect our devices from certain passwords to PIN codes to patterns. And there are advanced phones that goes to creating automatic backup of every data on the phone. And these are things that we should explore. Whatever mobile phone you're using, you get to the settings and you can see what the phone provider made available as security settings. And you utilize these settings to have maximum protection of your phone. Next, we'll be talking about how to back up your data very regularly. Avoid using... No, data backup is important in case of a cyber attack with device failure, or even when you misplace your device. When you set up automatic cloud backup, you have the possibility of having back your data, even in case of data of your device malfunctioning, or you misplace your device. So you can back up the entire device. You can back up individual apps on the device, but there is always that need for you to back up your data, because once you don't have access, you no longer have access to your device, or you don't have physical access to your device, there is still a possibility of you retrieving your data, and that is only when you activate data backup. Now, most of us connect our mobile phones to Wi-Fi in our offices, at home, and sometimes at public Wi-Fi at banks or town halls and seminars. And what we don't understand is access to some of this public Wi-Fi's are very risky. Very risky for users that connect to it, because they always there are possibilities that this one connect to it will see the data that is incoming to your phone and leaving your phone. So there is that need for us to always protect ourselves. Once we get on a public Wi-Fi, we use a virtual private network, which can be downloaded, and that way your information is shielded and cannot be easily accessed. Now we'll be looking at how phishing links and suspected emails can actually bring harm to being skeptical of emails requesting for personal information. We see emails telling us we are personal link-based, because sites where they contain malware, and most times once you already click, the malware enters your device. So it is very important that once you see some of these emails that are requesting for your personal information, always verify if it is coming from the authentic site, and be skeptical about clicking. Always verify before you can click. And once there is requesting for your personal information, you should always verify on the main website before clicking on any link. Finally, we'll be talking about social engineering, which is most prominent nowadays, because low-level tech hackers, black hackers are getting more into social, and this is something that is really a concern. Social engineering to deceive victims using various types of sensitive information sent through phones. You get on different platforms on social media, you get people text to you that they can offer you an opportunity, and they want to register you somewhere. And the next thing they said, okay, you will receive a code. Or they ask for your phone number, and the next thing they say, you will receive a code. Once you receive this code, they ask you, they'll request for the code. So you have to send the code to them. What they're actually doing is they are resetting your password. They have reset your password, and that code comes to you. Once you give that code, it no longer have access to your account. So we should be very vigilant. Social engineering is very dangerous in our society, and we should look out for it. Always validate the authenticity of messages or communication before responding, which is what we are actually talking about. So, these are 10 different ways. These are 10 different ways you can use to protect your phone from cyber criminals. Always prioritize your cyber security and double check if necessary the security measures and keep them up to date. Thank you very much for attending this presentation. When the slot for question will open up. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this presentation, sir. So in the comment, I see that we have a lot of participants from different countries. I see Cameroon, I see Ivory Coast, I see Kenya, I also see Uganda. And I noticed a question from Alphonse Odambiambo. He said, "Hello everyone, this is very constructive discussion. I recently learned that Google is introducing passkey to replace the use of password and OTP. What is your take on this? Please, Sir Vianney, can you answer?"
Please, the question again, please.
So the question is in the comment section, and it says, "Hello everyone, this is a very constructive discussion. I recently learned that Google is introducing passkey to replace the use of password and OTP. What is your take on this?"
Okay, I think the use of passkey has been introduced by other platforms, and currently the adoption of passkey is still very low because I think most of these platforms are still doing testing on passkey. But I think personally, passkey is a more secured than the use of passwords and OTP, because the passkey gives more rigorous security measures to the user and prevents more possibilities of breaking in than just passwords. So this is something that have been in development for a while, and I think if it is rolled out, it will prevent more cyber attacks than what passwords is currently doing right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Vianney. There is another question of something that's done. And she asked, "Can you elaborate more on the phone setting?" Also, I would like to say that if someone has a question, he can either type it in the chat box or he can hide his hand. The question of something that is, can you elaborate more on the phone setting?
Okay, by default, most smartphones they come with inbuilt security settings, and once you can explore the settings of your phone, you discover there's always a menu for security where it gives you the possibility of putting passwords on your phone, and also instituting different measures of security. So what I was stressing on that point is we should, in our individual phones, we should explore these settings and see what the mobile phone provides both for protection, so that we can utilize it to have. Yeah, thank you.
I would like to know, please, is there another question? Can someone want to add something to Sir Forewah? Yes, Miss Gasta, you can go on.
Yes, I have a question concerning the phishing link. So I want to add that because that has become one of the most common ways of attacks is those links. How can we really identify a link that is not a good one? Just give us even some 3 tips to know that this link is a phishing link. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your question, Madam Sophie. I'll start by saying that most of the times the phishing links, they come with messages that are really unreal. And in our context, in Cameroon, we call that maybe MTN is giving 50 fund that is sharing some money. And these are things that are so unreal. And this is the intention is to get people to want to click on the link as fast as possible because they want to get some of these things. So once you see some of those messages, the question you start asking yourself is this real? Can this be true? And then you can always verify on the authentic website, maybe of MTN, to see if they are doing that, or get to the customer service and request. Because the intention is to get people to click on the link. So they always make it as a bit to use very lofty opportunities to make people do that. And even when it comes to emails, we get some of these emails saying there is somebody died in the bank and access to that money. Those are things that are so unreal. Secondly, if you're using most of those emails, they come in the spam. They're already spam because once most people report a particular email address, it goes to spam. But first, you should look at the link that is being sent to you. Is it secured? Because the link that we want to request for your personal information, you need to make sure that it is secured before you start thinking about clicking on the link. So the first thing is the messages that come with these phishing links, they are very unreal. And then secondly, we should always learn to verify. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We have another question of Marie Dama, but in order to respect the time, I will ask her to type her question in the comment, and then Sir Forewah will answer in the comment. Because now we have to introduce another amazing speaker. It is a young and very, very dynamic woman. Her name is Tabitha Wengushi, and she is a digital rights expert from Nairobi in Kenya. She is also an active member of the Internet Society and the Kenya Youth LGL. She is very passionate about promoting digital rights, data privacy, and digital inclusion. Therefore, it is not surprising that she has participated in a variety of professional training in the fields of data protection, digital rights campaigning, women and public participation. And today, she will present a session called The Dark Side of Social Media, Protecting Yourself and Your Data Online. And during 30 minutes, she will talk about topics like harassment, bullying, and much more. So let's make a round of applause for Ms. Tabitha Wengushi. Ms. Tabitha, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Ms. Magali, for that flattering introduction. I don't think I need to introduce myself further. I will just go straight into the presentation. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And I would like to acknowledge the presence of the Internet Society Kenya President, Mr. Alphonse Yambo. Karibu sana. So as we begin our presentation, I'm going to talk about the dark side of social media, protecting yourself and your data online. This is courtesy of the Internet Safety Special Interest Group. Okay. So you find that social media use has been growing over the years. This is because the number of people across the globe is increasing daily. So you find that more than 53% of the world's population is on the internet. And what does this mean to us? This means that now that people are using social media more, there are now more potential risks online, such as cyber stalking, identity theft, phishing scams, addiction, and surprisingly, mental health problems. So we need to be aware of what we need to do in order to stay safe online. So I just found this interesting statistics from Statista on the number of social media users in billions, projecting from 2017 to 2027. And you can see that the number is rapidly growing. We are currently in 2023, and you can see that currently we have 4.89 billion users on social media. And by 2027, we expect the number to go even higher to 5.85 billion. So the first type of online threat that I'm going to be dwelling on is cyber stalking. Cyber stalking is commonly known as repeated threats and harassment. These people either use mail or social media platforms, and this action can make you be afraid or concerned about your safety when you're being harassed online. So statistics show that male dominated offenders while women as victims. But this does not mean that women are not cyber stalkers. We have women who are cyber stalkers, but the number is not high like that of men. So I'm going to give an example of an Arizona woman who went through a cyber stalking situation whereby someone hacked her computer by installing a software that would enable the stalker to watch the woman through her laptop camera. So this person was taking images of this woman when she was using her laptop and uploading them to another site. So that is a very scary example of cyber stalking. So you find that because of the socioeconomic background, you find that most of the victims are people who come from a higher socioeconomic background. And to add on this point, you find that nowadays most young people they're very tech savvy, and they're the majority of cyber stalkers. So what are some of the ways in which cyber stalking manifests? This is through computer monitoring software. Like I mentioned, the situation of the Arizona woman. Someone can download a software in your computer to be monitoring you through your camera, but you will not know. They can also install a malware that can do that. Also, there's online anonymous stalking. This is whereby someone can be watching you through social media so that they can plan how to either attack you or, tarnish your reputation or something like that. So the other one is a software download trick. And I have personally experienced this where someone tricks you into downloading a software that can monitor your activities online. They can check your WhatsApp messages, they can check your social media while you're using your phone. So there are certain apps that do that, and I'm not going to mention that for specific reasons. So the other one is you find that someone is constantly calling you, sending you text messages and emails. The other one is someone sending you unwanted porn content or violent content. So your last name may not be Kardashian, but I guarantee someone is keeping up with you. This was said by Germany Kent. When you're online, just remember that even if you're not famous, you're not a celebrity, you're not an Instagram model, but somebody somewhere takes interest in you and they might be keeping up with your content. So you need to be very careful with the kind of information you're putting out there. So the other one I'm going to talk about is phishing scam, which some participant has raised a concern about. And this is whereby it's a form of social engineering where fake messages are used to trick people to share personal information like your password, your credit card details, or if you are Kenyan, you can be asked for your ID number. And by someone who is pretending to be from a trusted source like a company, for example, Netflix or Google or a mobile service provider in your country, wherever you may be. So according to statistics, you find that most of the people who are between 31 to 40, they are likely to click on a phishing email. Why? Most people would argue because they're not tech savvy enough. But surprisingly, you find that even young people between 16 to 24 years old, they have made security mistakes that their company will never find about. So the other one is the other important point to know that is that phishing scams are very different. They don't work the same. So you find that there are different phishing attacks designed for specific people or groups. For example, spear phishing. This is whereby a scammer might be targeting a specific group or a specific type of person. For example, they might come to the internet society and target the IT manager. The other one is whaling, This is, for example, whereby attackers, they target a CEO, for example, with an email claiming that, the company's software has a problem and requires the CEO to enter maybe personal details or bank account information. And this leads the hacker to compromise the company's system and have access to information they should not. The other one is phishing. I would like to talk about. This is an attack that is accomplished by using a voice call. And I know most people, I don't know if it happens in other countries, but most Kenyans have been victims of this fraud, whereby the mobile service provider, Safaricom, they pretend to be now the mobile service provider. They call you and they ask you for your personal information, like your PIN. Your PIN is a 4-digit password that secures your mobile money. So they call you in odd hours of the day, pretending to be Safaricom, that your account has a problem. And when they get these personal details from you, they swap your SIM card and they empty your account. So this is very common in Kenya. Because of time, I'm not going to talk about the rest. So I'm going to show you an example of a phishing email, and I want you to be very keen and note some of the aspects that you should watch. You should watch when you're dealing with strange emails that you don't understand. Number one, I would like to mention is you get a sense of urgency. For example, the email subject is urgent. Your account needs updating. So the attacker wants you to panic so that you can act fast and make a mistake. The other one is they will ask for your personal information. For example, your account password, information that a normal service provider will not ask you for. So the goal is to have access to very sensitive information that can allow them to penetrate into your system. The other one is they will send you mysterious and misleading links. I know Vianney has talked about it. But I'm just going to say that anytime you receive an email, as you can see on my screen, there's a hand that is pointing to where you've been told to click. Before you click, just place the mouse where the link is, and you might be able to see red flags. For example, at times it's a very long link with crazy numbers, and you can see from this one, it's a HTTP without an S. S usually represents security. So you find that links with an S are safer to click on than this one is HTTP. And it's your bank.com, and then you find that there are many other numbers at the end which are not relevant. So you find that these links are supposed to take you to websites whereby they will compromise your device. So it's very important to hover over the link and just do a brief security check before you click on it. The other one is most of them don't know good English. They usually make a lot of spelling and grammatical mistakes if you're very keen. I have received one before and I noticed that it had spelling mistakes. So it's very important to take your time and read the whole email before you act. So on this other side, you can see a bluefish. There are different things that I've not mentioned about phishing emails, but some of them I can mention is the email simply makes no sense. For example, you were texted by, for example, your bank. It might be actually your bank, but the information does not make sense because you're from using your bank and it didn't have a problem, yet you're receiving an email claiming that your account has a problem. At times, it may not even feel right. And you might have a gut feeling that, something is off. So at times, it's very important to trust your instinct and, calm down, take time and read the email before you act. So the other one is they might not address you directly because they might not even know your name. So they will just go with vague salutations like dear valid customer or dear customer. So I hope that information is enough to, identify that it's a phishing email. Okay. So the other one is identity theft. I'm getting distracted by people who are joining. It's kind of blocking my screen. Sorry. So identity theft is whereby someone steals your information for their own benefit. You'll find that, for example, in medical identity theft, someone takes insurance card or insurance information and goes to the hospital and actually gets a medical procedure or get drugs and other kind of treatment using your own medical insurance. I know it happens a lot in my country. I'm not sure whether in other countries the same case. I've heard of such cases. The other one is financial identity theft. Someone might use your name to go and get credit on your credit card. Someone might be able to, swap your account and take your money by pretending they are you by using your identity card. The other one is online identity theft. Someone might pretend they are you by creating a social media account and asking people who are familiar to you for money. I know you've seen that. The other day I was dealing with a case of a friend of mine whose WhatsApp got hacked. I could not believe it. His own WhatsApp got hacked. And the person who hacked it now was texting people on his WhatsApp to, send him money on a certain number. So I found that to be very, very interesting. So I came across a case, 2013, it happened that there was a data breach at Yahoo. And, these hackers managed to compromise the Yahoo system and got away with a lot of people's data. And here that they're trading people's personal data on the dark web. So if you're using Yahoo, maybe by 2013, I don't know, you should know that your personal information was compromised in some way. So Bob Kahn, one of the fathers of the internet, he said that in terms of dangers such as viruses, fraud, or identity theft, I don't think we're thinking about that at all when we got started. If we had been worried about that, the net might have been better today, but we might not have even got there. So Bob Kahn is actually emphasizing on the importance of, privacy by design, thinking about the potential security risks before even designing all these technology that we have. So the other one, and I think it's my last example, is mental health issues and addiction. And I know it's a very interesting topic for most of us because you might not know whether you're addicted to your phone or you actually need your phone. And I remember coming across a meme because I'm a very addicted to Twitter. And that meme was saying that you're not addicted to Twitter, you're working. And I was actually trying to convince myself that I'm actually working. I am networking. I am consuming important information. I am not addicted to social media. We all lie to ourselves in that kind of way. But I find that social media is becoming a very important part of our lives, and we cannot ignore that because if you wake up in the morning and you don't check your email for a day, you might miss a very important opportunity. You might miss a very important meeting. So social media has become a very integral part of our lives. And with that, I also have to be very careful to find that it doesn't affect our mental health. So I noticed when I was doing some research, I noticed that most of the researchers on the intersection of internet and mental health were mentioning that, most social media platforms or even phone makers, they design red notifications in order to grab your attention and create addiction. Because if you see that red notification pattern, you are likely to grab your phone and check what just got into your phone. The other one is pull to refresh. You find that on Twitter or I noticed LinkedIn refreshes itself. It's not like Twitter. Twitter, if you leave it where you were scrolling, you will find it like that the next day. But LinkedIn, it refreshes itself even when you were following content. You might even end up losing the content that you're following. So you find that all these mechanisms have been developed to make you addicted, because if you see content on your timeline, you're scrolling and you see that I've already seen this content, it's no longer relevant. You can pull and refresh and see new content. And what does that do? It takes your time and makes you stay on social media. So the other one is, especially this is for young people, teenagers, Gen Z, even older people, surprisingly, they go online, especially Instagram. Thank God I'm not on Instagram. And they start watching other people's lifestyle, and they start feeling like they're behind in life. They go to LinkedIn and they see people getting promoted to higher positions and they're jobless, just scrolling through their phone, sitting at home, and they start having this pressure, and feeling like they're behind in life, they're not really accomplishing anything. And this comparison is very unhealthy because it causes people to start having mental health issues. And now they start, living a life that is not theirs, not knowing that the people they're admiring are also living lives that, are not real. So now what can we do to ensure that you're safe online? Now that you've mentioned some of the most common possible threats. Number one is to use a strong password. I know Vianney has talked about it, but I would like to emphasize it. I'm a very passionate evangelical of passwords, strong password. And the other day, I had a meeting with my friends in town and we were having coffee and I just started a random discussion. Guys, what does your password look like? And they all started, giving me examples of, how many characters we use and all that. And I was shocked. I was like, you're the people who easily get hacked because you've not even taken the simple necessary measures to keep yourself online, like getting a strong password. So to have a strong password, you should have more than 8 characters. And if you can have 16, it's okay. Have a password that you can easily recall, but make sure that your password has numbers, it has special characters, it has capital and small letters. So that is very important. Don't put less than 8 and always mix special characters, small letters, large capital and small letters, because I know there are websites where you try to create a password and they have those mechanisms put in place whereby they cannot allow you to keep a password if it's not strong enough. But if you go to a password that allows you to put any kind of password, please take your time, create a password, go and look for a password storage software. For example, I recommend Bitwarden. Bitwarden is very essential in storing people's password. I would not advise people to use Google passwords. I'm sorry if there's anyone from Google in this meeting, because if someone gets access to your Google account, which happens almost every day, I have been hacked before. Last year, my Google account was hacked. I would recommend you not to use Google to store your password, because if someone gets access to your Google account, they have access to all your passwords. And what does that mean? That all the accounts you have are compromised. So it's very important to use an account like Bitwarden. And I would mention a password storage company that actually got hacked. Hello? So the company got hacked, the systems were compromised, but the customer's passwords or the user's passwords managed to be kept safe. You know why? Because they did not have the key password that the user uses to log into their account. So now you see why it's important to have a password storage app on your phone or on your laptop. Okay, the other one is, please do not use the same password on all of your devices or all of your accounts. If you have this password on your phone, don't use the same password on your laptop. Or if you have this password on your Instagram, don't go and reuse the password on your Instagram. Because what does this mean? If a hacker compromises your Instagram, they will also be able to access your LinkedIn because you have the same passwords on those 2 accounts. Always ensure that you have different passwords for different accounts. The other one is 2-factor authentication to all accounts. I know Vianney has talked much about this, so I won't dwell much on that, but it's always provided in all social media accounts, except I know Twitter. Recently, there was a very huge debate that if you don't pay for the blue check mark, you will not be able to use the 2FA. And that is very sad. But if you have that privilege on other accounts like LinkedIn, please go and put two-factor authentication. If a hacker tries to get into your account, they will not be able to log in that easily. Even if they have your password, you will have to verify from another device that you are actually the one trying to log in, and that will stop the hacker from compromising your account. The other one is always ask questions before giving out personal information. Some of you will be called, and I'm going to tell you how my friend lost his WhatsApp account. A random person just called him, and this was a phishing attack, and I will call it spear phishing because this person had checked my friend's social media and knew what this guy does. He's a diplomat, and my friend used to post, when he goes to different conferences, and this person called and said he's from UN and that they are organizing a conference, and they've sent a passcode to his phone that he should share it with them so that they can make arrangements for him to attend it. And my friend, in that moment, he read the code that was sent on his phone, not knowing that it's the two-factor account authentication code that was sent to his phone to log in into his WhatsApp that he gave the guy. So the hacker was able to, penetrate into his system. So I would advise you to be very cautious and ask all the questions you can from someone who wants to have access to your information. The other one is please use shaders to destroy personal information. I know most of us are digital, but some of us are still using papers, and someone might go on dumpster diving to check your personal documents, even if, for example, you're a person of high interest and you're just used to just putting your document in the trash can. Don't do that. You either incinerate them or you use a shredder so that someone may not be able to find personal information about you. The other one, Vianney talked about it, is keep your antivirus and anti-spyware up to date on your laptop and even on your phone. Android and iPhone, they usually have software updates. So always ensure you are up to date because these systems will be able to protect you from any kind of malware or virus. So the other one, which was, by the way, and I actually have a desktop camera from the Internet Society, please cover your desktop camera. In the case that your laptop is compromised, like the Arizona woman that I mentioned, you will be able to protect yourself. Like I always have a camera covering my desktop because I think I'm paranoid, but it's always good to stay safe. So even if someone compromises your device, they will not be able to have access to you. So the other one is always keep evidence of cyber attacks and report. I'm going to use this example again. When my friend got hacked, he didn't know what to do. He was very devastated. And we actually, luckily, I had an incident like this before and I had reported. So I knew how to report a cyber incident. In Kenya, we have KSAT from the Communications Authority of Kenya, and we were able to write them an email, and they actually responded in less than an hour. And he's now getting help and is in the process of getting his account restored, working with KSAT and WhatsApp at the same time. I know I've mentioned this before. Don't use the same password for all accounts. And the other one is do not enter credit card information on strange sites. I know right now there's a rise in AI products. There are so many apps that are using AI, and most of them require subscription to use. And you find that people are excited to use this app, and they end up putting their personal information on this site without. So please ensure that you do your research well before you provide your credit card details. Or those who use Bitcoin, don't provide your Bitcoin address easily. I'm also in Web3 and I use Bitcoin, and I've a lot of these phishing attempts. So the other one is do not overshare or share personal information on social media. Some of us like to document every part of our lives, but I would encourage you, please hesitate from sharing, especially your location. If you go somewhere, it's important to turn off your location because you never know who is watching you on social media or who wants what from you. So it's very important to stay private. The other one is don't click on links without previewing. I've given you this example. You can just do a simple mouse hovering to check whether the link is legit or not. Or the other thing I would advise is if you get a link from a specific organization claiming it's them, don't click on that link. Go to Google, open a fresh web page and type the name of the company. When you press enter, the name of the company will pop up on the web page. Click on that link because most times they are always replicated. It's a form of clone phishing whereby the criminal replicates the email of the company. At times, they even replicate the website. So if you click on it, instead of taking you to the original company website, it will take you to the attacker's website that they have actually cloned to treat you. The other one is don't shy away from asking for help. If you get a security challenge, you can always post either on your WhatsApp status. You can ask your friends for help. You can ask on social media if you get maybe a security notification that you don't understand about. And the last one is be very watchful. Always check your bank statement. Someone might be, having access to your account and you don't know, and they're just spending money or, taking loans on your behalf, but you don't know. Also, it's very important to check your Google activity. If, for example, you have many Google accounts, at times it's important to read your emails. I know there are people who don't read their emails. They have like 30,000 emails unread. At that time, you find that Google tried to notify you that someone was logging into your account, but you didn't see it. So it's very important to always read your emails and ensure that the notifications you're getting are actually things that you initiated. And with that, I would like to leave you famous quote from Samsung, from the Art of War. If you know yourself and know your enemy, you will be safe in every battle. If you know yourself, but not the enemy, you will suffer defeat for every victory gained. If you neither know the enemy nor yourself, you will lose in every battle. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Ms. Magali. I would like to know, is there any question? We take a maximum of 3 questions. So if you have a question, just hide your hand. Seems like, but it's typing. Are you really sure? Okay, I'll see a question in the chat. Can we have the recording for this session? Yes, there is. Let me copy the link. So if there is no question, I will then close the webinar. I would like to thank our 2 speakers, Ms. Tabitha Wengeshi and Sarah Vianney Forewah. I would also like to thank all the participants for being there on time, so we can also end on time. And I would like also to thank the team of the transcription. And really, again, there is a question. I see a hand from Gabriel Hanan. Please, Gabriel, the floor is yours.
Okay. Yeah, good afternoon here in Ghana. I didn't actually join in early. I don't know whether I didn't get the time right, but my question is that I want to find out. With regards to the mobile phone location, assuming you are going to a place and probably you need to let maybe a family member know that probably you are at this place. Turning off the location, in as much as you want to avoid being tracked by maybe some hackers or something. What are you going to do to be safe, since you need to also let your family also be in the known of where you are? So how do you manage this two, being safe and also, letting your family know exactly where you are? Thank you.
Okay. Gabriel, for that question, what I meant is there are people who go to, for example, hiking in the forest, and they actually post where they are on social media. They say, I am in Amazon forest hiking with my best friend, and that is very risky, exposing your location to people on social media who have no business knowing where you are. So that's what I meant by, ensuring that your location is anonymous. You can go to a place, you can have fun, without necessarily telling people that, I am here, especially if you're alone, or, if you're a female and you're in the company of females, it's very important to conceal your location information. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Then another, I also see that Vianney had a question.
Yes, it's not actually a question. It's just a contribution to the last question that was asked. We should also know that sometimes when we snap pictures, the pictures go with metadata, and location is one of the metadata that goes with pictures. So even when you get your pictures in any location you are and you're sharing, it's true there are some platforms that strip off metadata from pictures before they are being posted on some of these platforms, but you should know that pictures carry metadata that can identify your location and other information about your device. So, like the presenter rightly said, you should avoid sharing as much as possible so it doesn't expose you. It doesn't expose your location or wherever you are at that moment.
Thank you very much for this contribution, sir. And finally, we have Samba.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Samba. I would like to thank Tabitha for her wonderful presentation. So what I would like to ask is, we were talking about, Twitter, about two-way verification. So yes, one time, I planned to have like a two-way verification on my Twitter, but I couldn't able to do that because of the reason. And I also wanted to link my LinkedIn account with my Twitter account, but I didn't do that because my Twitter don't have a two-way verification, and if something happens, it will take them to my LinkedIn account. So, is there any other way to protect a Twitter account other than the two-way verification? That's my question. And thank you.
Thank you, Saba, for that question and for tuning in. As I said before, it's very unfortunate that Twitter had to do FA for users who are not subscribed to the blue check mark. And if you want to, there are so many ways to stay safe on Twitter to prevent your account from being compromised. And that is minimizing sharing your personal information. That can protect you from potential hackers. There are people who actually reveal too much information on themselves online. You can almost guess what their password is. So number one is to be very discreet with sharing your personal information online. And I think there's no other way, Saba, of maximizing security other than, subscribing to the blue check mark and being able to turn the 2FA. But don't worry about online security if you've taken other measures to protect yourself online. I hope that answers your question. But I think you can activate 2FA on LinkedIn. I did it for my friend the other day and it worked. So don't worry about Twitter. Just ensure that you turn on the 2FA on LinkedIn. And one day, if you're able to subscribe the blue check mark on Twitter, you can turn on the 2FA. It's just an extra layer of security, but it does not mean that if you don't have 2FA that, you are finished, that hacker can easily get your account. Get a strong password. Get a very strong password. If you have a weak password is, for example, 6 characters, 4 characters with letters only, or with letters and one number, 0 special characters. So ensure that you put a very strong password, because let me surprise you. There are so many tools that people are coming up with to crack passwords. You understand? So someone can take 2 minutes, 3 seconds to crack a weak password. And someone else has a password that it can take maybe 5 decades to crack. So ensure that you protect yourself online by having strong passwords. For example, on Twitter now that you don't have 2FA, because as we progress, cyber criminals are coming up with clever ways on how to, attack people. So once you have a strong password on Twitter.
Thank you very much, Ms. Tabitha Wangoshi. And it was the final contribution to this webinar. Again, thank you very much for the speaker. Thank you very much for the translation team, and thank you very much for the participants. It was a pleasure exchanging with you. And I will stop there and wish you to have a nice evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, thank you.